Good morning. Ignore that I'm missing a nail. I will fix that later. That first sip of coffee do something to me. It do something to me. Today is December 10th, 2024. I didn't record yesterday. I don't really have no excuse. I did some work. I edited day 5 through 8 and put that up on YouTube. That took way longer. You know what I'm finding about content creation? The long form stuff, like, it's so tedious that I don't, how do I say this? Long form content creation is so tedious in the editing process that I never feel like I have time to get creative with the editing before I get irritated. Or even, and then like, I don't get too creative. At least I haven't yet tried to at least get too creative with the shooting, because I'm just trying to build the muscle of shooting. But then I start second guessing myself because my life isn't really that exciting. I'm either at home working or I'm at my brother's house with the kids. And you know, that's cool. People seem to enjoy it. I actually scratch all of that. Let me first start by saying thank you so much to the 166 subscribers I have now. Y'all really here to listen to me yap. And I hope you stick around, because in 2025, my plan is to do more actual design related content creation related content, to do more work related things on YouTube specifically. So if you don't know, I used to run a Facebook group called Artistry Academy, and where I would like teach solopreneurs or like beginning entrepreneurs like the basics of branding, or even just throw out tips about like general business stuff that I was learning along the way. Again, I've been in business or freelancing. This will be this is year 14. I'm like, ain't no way I started in 2010, but I did. Okay, so this is year 14. And I started from zero knowledge. Not really. Like, my grandfather had a computer store, like a computer repair store growing up, and my aunt Cassandra had a hair salon that I frequented. But besides like scheduling type stuff, like I never really saw them run the business. Like, I didn't know any of the ins and outs. So I kind of fell into entrepreneurship, and as I was learning things, and my community in St. Louis was very I would say it's very small, and so everybody was kind of starting businesses and things like that, and it was just easier for me to like share that, and people knew to come to me for those things, right? Now that I'm obviously in a huger market, and honestly the internet has made things a huge market. Cause I used to, back then I did a lot of stuff in person too. I did some workshops and stuff like that. But anyway, saying all that to say that I'm bringing Artistry Academy back. It is now a community on Patreon, where you have access to my brain for $5 a month. And I really don't want it to be any higher than that. Like, I'm doing it to build a community, but to also not burn myself out while I do it. That's where the $5 comes in, because the Facebook community was free. And I feel like the only reason I stopped is because I got burnt out. It was constant. And I don't mind the constant, but with a little padding, you know, we can get it together. Anyway, so join me on Patreon. This week is our first office hours, where you can literally ask me anything, whether you've been interested to work with me, or you've been DIYing your branding and you like, okay, why this color not working, or why is this not working in Photoshop, or like whatever you want to ask me, whatever. So open house, office hours, think of it like that, right? Doing that. Don't know why I said that. Why am I getting there? Oh, because that's the type of stuff that I'm going to be doing in 2025. And that the reason I didn't record yesterday is because I was working, and I'm like, this is really boring stuff. but I don't think it really matters. I am going to be spending the rest of the year getting mentally prepared, getting organized, and trying to get a jump start on some of the habits and things that I want to build in 2025. And so I'm not sure if the rest of the vlogs will have a lot of talking of me explaining what's going on. At least not as much as the other ones did. But I want to try to get a little bit more creative with these next few ones and just give it like a cinematic feel. Do I know how to do that? No. Like in theory, I do, because I see the world like in a cinematic way as a designer, as a creative person. But being able to like execute that, I've never really tried. So we're gonna see how this goes. So saying all that to say, today I am going to be very boring. I'm gonna be sitting here drinking my coffee. The first project I'm working on is some updates to Brianka's website. If you've never heard of Brianka Johnson, she has been probably my longest client, my longest long-term client turned friend. She is a marketing specialist, wizard, genius, like whatever else you want to label her as it pertains to marketing, like, and personal branding, honestly, for sure. So visit BriankaJohnson.com, and this is honestly, so I say we've been working together forever because it's literally true. I believe this is probably like year 7 or 8. The website that you'll see now at BriankaJohnson.com is probably like the 5th website we've done, because her business has grown so much over the years, and it's pivoted so much over the years as she's gained more knowledge about like what people need, because she is still in corporate America. So yeah, we've built so many things together. And like, she'll text me, I'll probably get a text from her today, and she'll always be like, hey, don't mean to bother you. Girl, you're not bothering me. This message is for Brianka Johnson. You're not bothering me. You're like my favorite person on earth. And not just because you pay me, but because I really, really, really believe in her talent, her vision. Like, we don't always like, and it's so interesting. I saw a TikTok yesterday that this girl was saying that I believe she's in business school, and she's also beginning her entrepreneurship journey while she's in business school. So I'm assuming she's in her 20s, something like that, right? She looked really young, and she said that people were asking her like how hard it is to do both at the same time, and she was like, I don't think it really matters that I'm doing both at the same time, because like it's gonna be hard anyway. Like, entrepreneurship is failing daily. And I said, you're right, you're failing daily at something, especially while you're doing it by yourself. And though I've never hired directly in my business or anything like that, this is an appreciation post to Brianka. And I'm also throw a line in there. They're also solopreneurs, but they have made this journey for me less lonely. They have humanized it for me. And that's why when they call, I'm like, what you need? Because this journey, the other thing the girl said in the video was like, it's not my fault that I can't work a corporate job effectively. And sometimes like I think that, and then I don't say it out loud, because I'm like, but that seems like really entitled, or that seems, I don't know, it seems lazy almost. But then it's like, no, it's not, because I'm choosing the harder route every day. I'm choosing to like do something every day that makes me feel like an idiot half of the time, and then makes me feel like a genius the other half of the time. It is literal mental warfare. And it was kind of refreshing to see somebody say that was younger and that had like all this, you know, social media notoriety and everything, because entrepreneurship is so glamorized right now. I feel like it has been for a while, but I don't know. Let me say this. I've tried to quit. I've tried so hard to quit. My friend Sean was saying this yesterday too. He was like, when you give up, you give up. But I never believe you, because you'll be back. And I'm like, because when I be done, I be done. And this is the only thing, and that goes for relationships, that goes for a lot of stuff. When I'm done, I'm done. But for whatever reason, entrepreneurship like won't let me escape it. Creative business won't let me escape it. And it's almost in the most like beautiful way. Like I've never had something so persistently get on my nerves. Or I've never allowed anything or anyone to so persistently get on my nerves the way that I have trying to make a business work, or trying to make a craft, a passion work. And some days the pull of it all, like it pulling me back in, some days that gives like, okay, this is what God wants me to do. I can't escape it. Like this is the path. And other days it gives, the devil is testing me, the enemy. The enemy is testing me. I will say though, if there's anybody out there that's considering entrepreneurship or already on your journey and you're like, I don't know what's going on, I'm not sure that ever fully goes away. But it gets easier to deal with if you're also doing the personal mental work. Like if you guys watched, I want to say it was maybe day 1 or day 2, where I kind of briefly mentioned that I was having a like issue with the previous client that like disputed a charge for a service that was already, never was complete, but the way my projects are set up, like anything else, that's why people take deposits. I know that gets annoying for some customers, like taking the deposit or whatever, but that's to secure the time and the place and the like whatever, right? So I had taken an initial payment and done a lot of work, and then we determined after doing a lot of that work that it really wasn't going to work out, so let's just stop here. And she was like, well, since I'm not keeping the work, I shouldn't have to pay for it. So she tried to take the money back. And at that point, if this was, so this happened in November, if this was 5 years ago, probably even 2 or 3 years ago, I would have lost it. I would have lost it personally. Like that would have been such a personal attack on my life. I would have taken it so personally. And while there's still a level of it that feels personal, because like, you know, this is my business, just as you were trying to start yours, like, you know, the value of $1. So that level of like taking advantage of somebody, I don't rock with. So it still feels personal in a way, but I didn't lose sleep over it the way that I would have in the beginning or even a couple years ago. Like, so that's what I say, that part gets easier. Like me focusing on managing my own anxiety, whether it's work related or not, working on like my mental toughness, using the Bible as literally a shield. All of that has made entrepreneurship a little bit easier, because once you're okay with who you are as a person and you know your intentions are good, you know, you mean well by people, that you actually do just want to help. Like I get joy out of creating something with somebody and them being so proud that they can't help but to promote their business, because I know what it feels like to be kind of like, I call it brand shame, to have brand shame of like, I did this myself and I don't really know if people gonna like, it don't really look professional or whatever. And then so you have so much imposter syndrome that you're timid about putting it out there. Like you might post it once and then you never say nothing about it again. I know what that brand shame feels like. And my whole mission is to build things with people that not only they can be proud of, but that can function once they hit the market. Like I can go on a tangent about that forever. But yeah, anyway, I'm spending the rest of the year really solidifying my plans for 2025. I was really relaxed with my business in 2024. And I think that came from a lot of disappointment. That came from outside circumstances, going through a breakup, like all those types of things. 2025, and I know we say these types of things every year. Well, I'm not playing. Not to get too personal, I'm still an open book. But once you've hit rock bottom and you know you can't stay there and you have no desire to stay there, like sometimes that's the motivation you need. And in a lot of ways, I've hit mental rock bottom, physical rock bottom, financial rock bottom, spiritual rock bottom. Like, I feel like I've, in the span of my 32 years, I've hit all of those. So now I'm like, ain't no other way but up. Let's do it. And I feel scared. That never goes away. But I feel like it's time to give it my all, so that at the end of the day, I can say, like, I left it all on the floor, you know? And let God do with my works what he intends for them to do. I just want to be disciplined and obedient and praise him out loud, like, while doing all of that. And one of the biggest things that I avoided for so long while building a business was putting God in it. Now you can interact with any of my content and you know that I know Jesus Christ. Back in the day, I kept those things very separate and probably kept it mostly off the internet. Because you know how we just feel, there are things that you don't talk about at work. You don't talk about politics. You don't talk about blah. And you keep all these things separate. You don't talk about money. I don't believe none of that no more. I truly don't. I think there are some things that you can decide to keep for yourself, for sure. But if our goal is to build the kingdom using our gifts, how can we do that keeping it separate? It just don't make sense. So anyway, for the next few vlogs, you will see me working, brainstorming. I used to do this thing where I would put huge sheets of paper like on the walls and the windows or whatever and kind of just like map things out. I'm going back to that Ashley, because that Ashley was a planner that actually hit her goals, and not all of them every single time flawlessly, but when they were in front of me, I was able to like focus and see the vision and see the plan and, like, you know, connect the dots. And I haven't done that in a while. Actually, probably not since I moved to Texas, honestly. The last time I did that, I'll try to find a clip because I know I have one somewhere, or at least a picture. But the last time I did that was in my last loft in St. Louis downtown. And I literally, like, the ceilings were super high and everything. I had a lot of empty space in that apartment. Like, it was honestly too big for one person, but it allowed me to have my studio in the loft and everything. So such a bittersweet place. Like, I had to get out of there because it physically made me sick, but I miss it in some ways. But anyway, in the dining room area, I never had a dining room table. So there was just a lot of like wall space, and I would put papers all up the wall. That's how I manage my projects. That's how I would like manage my goals and see like the different branches of my business. And that's what I feel like I've lost sight of. So that's what we're doing. Today's Tuesday. That's what we're doing for the next couple of weeks, honestly. And then on my normal ritual, since I normally spend a lot of like holidays solo, the normal thing that I do on New Year's Eve is deep clean my house. And not to say that I'm putting off cleaning now to like save for New Year's Eve, because that's not the thing. But my friends always talk about how meticulous I am. And my apartment right now is not to my standards. The kitchen looks a mess. Now, is it truly disgusting? No, but it's not to my standards. I had some water damage in my closet, so I took all of the clothes out of the closet. Not all of them, but any clothes that were like touching the ground or anything like that. And like this clothing rack, I took that all out. And a lot of the clothes and the laundry that I've done since then are on my bed, or just like in a pile in my bedroom. That's driving me nuts. I need to go through all of that. I've already started a donation pile because, whether I want to admit it or not, I have put on a little weight in the midsection. So a lot of things don't fit anymore. And it's either like you're going to buy new clothes or just wear the ones that fit, or you're going to work out. And the workout is in the plan. I have to be realistic. So there's so much I need to do. I know y'all saw me doing light cleaning, but I need to do a deep clean. And that's the plan for New Year's Eve. I like to go into the new year with a spotless, comfortable home. That's the plan as of right now. I don't know if my parents or my brother and my sister-in-law have any plans. Was I here last New Year's Eve? I had to be in this apartment, right? No, I was in the other apartment. So I don't know if they like do all of that shooting and stuff over here. I don't know. So that is the plan. I'll try to get glimpses of me working. But if you really, really, really want more of me in the business side, come over to Patreon. I'll be going live on YouTube, which will be a link inside of Patreon. I don't know if I'll make it public on YouTube because I don't know what's going to happen in the conversation, but I might cut up pieces from those lives to make public, if that makes sense. Okay, I'm done talking. I'm going to finish working. I'm going to watch Matlock. Not the old version, the new one. There's a new Matlock. And I'm going to finish my coffee. Happy Tuesday. Another thing that I'm working on doing better at in the new year is like sticking to a schedule. So it's 12:30 and I'm actually taking a break to eat some lunch. Instead of sitting there to try to keep my focus and then end up getting a headache because I'm hungry or because I'm dehydrated or whatever and I didn't take the time to stop and eat. So heating up some leftovers, which is pretty much a rice bowl. And I'm gonna take a break for a second because also I feel like I am getting a bit of a migraine or like a sinus headache because I keep turning the heat on and off because for whatever reason I can't regulate my body temperature. Yeah, for whatever reason my body temperature won't regulate, so I keep turning the heat on and off. And it always messes with my sinuses, and I know that, and I still do it. It's warm enough. Probably could have put more in this bowl too, but it's fine for now. And I turned the camera off to go back to working, and my brother calls me and asks me to pick up my nephew from school today. So these are the things that like make me appreciate entrepreneurship, because I can do last minute things that involve like taking care of my family, especially my nephews. Even when it throws a monkey wrench in the plan, like I don't mind it, because if I was working a 9 to 5, you still asking me for this code. If I was working a 9 to 5, that was like strict and I couldn't like move around, then I would be anxious all day about like, okay, if they need me to pick him up and I can't do it, then how we gonna do it? Like the stress of that. Like I get my worrying from my mother, probably my father too. He just a little more covert with his worrying. But am I going to be able, okay, so I can edit the DNS. So what we've been trying to do for this last like hour is shut down her Shopify website and move all of the products that were on Shopify onto the new Wix website. Because before she was using both. She was using Wix and Shopify. And now that we're doing this in a more concise manner, we're merging the two. And so before, when you would go to her digital products, you would go to marketplace.briankajohnson.com, and that took you to the Shopify store. Well, now we want that same domain to work. We want that same URL to work, but to take it to the new store. So I had to go into her DNS to update where marketplace.briankajohnson.com points. First we had to track down. So she's had this domain for forever, just like I've had mine forever. So we had to remember where the domain, like who the domain host was, like where does it live, because we haven't had to touch it in so long. Then we realized that it was a Google domain. Well, I think a year ago, Google domains got bought out by Squarespace domains. So now we have to figure out how to log into Squarespace, because normally I would do all of this in GoDaddy or in Google. Her tagline for her business is like, marketing doesn't have to be rocket science. And I just texted her like, finally got it, and she was like, it was in fact rocket science. But yeah, so all of that nerdy logging in and logging out and sending codes back and forth, like, so annoying. Earthquakes in Missouri? There's a lot going on. Okay, and you send me gas money. Great. I still have so much to do. I need to contact Brianna Fawcett. Fawcett? How you pronounce her last name? Okay, one thing at a time. Okay, here is the subdomain marketplace. I just need to change where it's pointed to. And now, because this has taken so long, I need to get back to my screen that tells me that. I don't have 7 million tabs open. Okay. I think we should just point it to this, BiancaJohnson.com. Alright, I'm gonna point it to this. What do you mean enter valid alias data? Why is that not valid? Do I take off the HTTPS? Why is that not valid? What do you mean? Enter valid alias data. What do you mean? Why is that not valid? Marketplace. I don't understand. Why can't I do that? BiancaJohnson.com/category/all products, which is also BiancaJohnson.com/shop. But when I try to forward it, oh, this is gonna make me so mad. After all that, it's still not working. Okay, I am going to take a break then. I am going to go use the bathroom, put on some warmer clothes, and go get my sweet face, because that ain't nothing but the enemy trying to make me mad. It's all over your shirt, bro. Hey. Did you roll in some dirt? Who's that? Look, pet the baby, pet the baby. Pet? Conway. What do I say? I don't know. Rub the baby. Oh, pat. Yes. Excuse me. Pat, pat, pat. Pat, pat, pat. Pat, pat, pat. Now I'm gonna smell like a banana. You gotta have stuff in both hands.
My model looks perfect. The thing, the judges are going to be able to identify with me. And
just like she is. The hat, the earring, the shoe. It's like perfection. I want to see her like a white button down. I said, it's okay.
if I saw this in New York, I would tell the buyers if I buy my collection, you have to go see this book and you about this.
Alright, guys. I freaking loved COVID's look. Would you mind putting your mask back on? I had not noticed COVID's detail this 3.
Take it away, feeling too good to me. Chilling all day.